Good evening. Welcome to the May 7, 2025 School Committee meeting. The Barnstable Public Schools educates the whole child by creating a student-centered school culture that addresses students' physical, social, emotional, and academic needs by creating a safe and healthy learning environment in which students are challenged, supported, and engaged. Core values. In Barnstable Public Schools, we value commitment, collaboration, and community. Commitment. We are dedicated to the continuous learning and growth for all. Collaboration. We work together while keeping student needs at the center of all decision-making. Community. We build strong, respectful partnerships that support student success. Item 1.2, statement by the chair, video or audio recording of meeting. This school committee meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20. The chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. Okay, thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to welcome the Barnstable Intermediate School students, Harper Delelis and Belish Pradam, who are here to lead our Pledge of Allegiance this evening.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 1.4, student envoy report from Barnstable Intermediate School students, Harper Delelis and Bishla Pradam. Did I say that right?
It's Bishlax.
Bishlax. All right. I apologize. All right. We're ready to hear from you.
Hello. I'm doing good. How are you? May I start? As I plan and prepare for the end game, with just 2 months left in BIS, I can confidently say that this school year has been my best and favorite year in school of all time. I am glad I chose to go to BIS because it gave me the foundation to take the next big step to my goals. Over this school year, I have made countless friends, learned many new things, and reached new heights day by day. One highlight I'd love to share about BIS is about how open the school environment is. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what you like, in BIS, there is something for everyone, and everyone is welcome. At the end of the day, BIS is where students find their why. Thank you for giving me the honor to be here.
Thank you. That's great. Any questions or comments? Yeah. All right. Now we'll hear from Harper.
Hi, my name is Harper Delelis, and I'm in 6th grade at Barnstable Intermediate School. This year has been an amazing adventure. From entering a new school, having a new curriculum, and multiple clubs and enrichment courses, it has been quite the learning experience. Luckily, my Sandy Neck team teachers have guided me to a seamless transition into this new element. I have fallen in love with math and look forward to accelerated math classes in 7th grade, preparing me for my future. I have enjoyed many after-school clubs and programs, including chorus. I look forward to our chorus concert on May 22nd. In yearbook, we are putting together all of the school memories from this past year and how fast it's gone by. It is very evident that our teachers and faculty at BIS have a deep and commissioned passion for the students. Thank you for keeping our education first and foremost, and I look forward to making an impression in 7th grade, the challenges it'll bring, and the memories it will make. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. All right. Jen, questions?
No questions, but thank you very much for coming in and sharing your positive experiences. It's always awesome to hear those. So good luck next year. Good luck in 8th grade. Good luck in 7th.
Thank you.
Well done, guys. Coming out to a meeting, being in front of the camera, you handled yourself seamlessly. I'm interested, and I like you talked about finding your why. What are you going to be interested in studying or pursuing, whether athletic or academic, next year? You seem that you guys are both on a good path, and you found things that you enjoy. So, what are you looking forward to next year as we wind down?
For me, I look forward to learning more about the law and justice.
I look forward to getting into accelerated math.
Sounds great. Guys, keep working hard.
Mike?
Excellent job. As I say to everybody, it just amazes me when kids come up because adults get so nervous when they come up here. And how was it? Was it as bad as you thought it was going to be, or was it pretty easy?
It was easy.
Easy. There you go. See? So maybe you'll be sitting up here someday. Good job. Excellent job. And have a fun. And we're almost there. So have a fun and safe summer. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and sharing. And it's great to hear that everybody's welcome to BIS and that you're looking forward to the high school. I'm sure if you're interested in the law, you'll get involved with the mock trial maybe. Sounds great. And I'm a math person at heart. I love math. So good luck with that. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Come on up here. Can I stand on either side of that sill right there? Yeah. Not close enough so we can take your dishes.
All right. We have item 2.1 for our highlights in education, the superintendent's academic excellent award recipient, Nicholas Ramos.
Great. Thank you. Nick is here in the audience, making a return to the school committee meeting, maybe up there or wherever you're comfortable.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you guys again.
So do you want me to share a little bit about what I said? So as I had mentioned at a previous meeting, I have two superintendent award recipients. Paloma Savignon was one, and Nick Ramos is the other. Paloma, Nick, and their families, and I, along with high school administration, had the opportunity to have a celebratory dinner with other award recipients from Cape and Island schools. And Barnstable, I have the pleasure, because of our size, to select two recipients through a personal selection process, and they represent members of the top 5% of the graduating class. And very quickly became very, very impressed with Nick. You may remember that Nick came to a meeting previously for a couple of reasons. One included your art that you were displaying here, which was amazing, and for the perfect math SAT score. And so Nick is here tonight to be recognized for additional successes and being selected as one of the superintendent's award winners. He had the perfect score on the math SAT, making him among the top 1% of test takers. And we already talked, and I could continue to brag about his amazing art. He had very strong academic success with a 4.71 academic weighted GPA. He took 15 AP classes over his time at Barnstable High School, with 6 in his senior year, scoring 4 or higher on all of those exams. And you're probably taking you're taking 6 exams over the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I just took 2 today.
Oh, my goodness. Well, congratulations for having them behind you. Not only is he high achieving in math and science, but also excels in the arts and likes to connect his AP Studio art to his engineering course. He is decorated with many awards, earning 3rd place at the Massachusetts Science and Engineering Fair, 2nd place at the Massachusetts Region 5 Science Fair, 1st in Global Issues Future Problem Solving in individual and team competitions, an honorable mention for painting in the Scholastic Art and Writing Competition, and earning top 5% in an international pivotal essay contest in the ethics category. He's done numerous extracurriculars at Barnstable High School, including BHS hockey. He's the treasurer of Future Problem Solvers, the vice president of Student Council, a member of the Math Honor Society. He completed a summer science program at Purdue University. He's a 2nd-degree black belt and an associate instructor of martial arts, having practiced karate for over 12 years. At the time of the initial announcement, I think you were undecided, but you've made your decision.
Yep. I'll be attending the Massachusetts Institute of Technology next year, studying biological chemical engineering, it's a mouthful, and minoring in design.
Amazing. His guidance counselor notes that Nick is a student that would be missed at BHS as he takes his infectious smile, affable nature, and passion for learning to college. There's no doubt he will make a lasting impact on the world. So it was a real pleasure, and it's a pleasure again tonight to recognize you, Nick, on all of your accomplishments, and congratulations.
Thank you.
School committee comments?
I don't think a round of applause is enough. I'm sure you get a lot of it, but that is epic. I mean, what a portfolio for someone your age, honestly. So don't stop, keep going. We need people like you everywhere all the time. So if you can figure out in your studies how to bottle that, whatever that mojo is, that'll make you a lot of money.
Yep, I'll try, yep.
Congratulations. Quite a laundry list of accomplishments, and so, not to speak to that. I'm glad you're keeping your talents here in the Commonwealth, so you're not going to be too far from us down the road at MIT.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud of you. Congrats. And, we want to see you as you go on to your future success, graduating from Barnstable. We like that full circle. So I'm glad you're keeping your talents here in Massachusetts, so I'm sure we'll cross paths as you're moving on.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. Thanks for making me feel like, I don't know. So out of all of that stuff, like the art and the hockey and the karate and all of the different things and the studying and all that, what's your favorite? Do you have one favorite?
That's a hard question.
I know.
I like the balance of all of it, because if I focus on one thing too much, then I can kind of get bogged down in it. And
yeah, and it gets, well, plus you kind of lose that zest for it. Like it gets kind of.
Burn out a little bit.
Yep.
And yeah, so I like the balance of it.
You kind of like to do a little bit of everything. That's awesome. Good job. Excellent. Good luck next year. Enjoy the rest of this year. This is kind of the fun time of the year when you get to kind of do all the fun stuff of senior year.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going for? Are you guys doing a class trip?
Six Flags.
Oh, cool. They're going back to the Six Flags? Excellent. Oh, sorry. My bad. Oh, geez. See? Oh, cool. So that's good. So enjoy the rest of the senior year. I know you get your EP tests coming, like you're in the midst of those, but kind of also enjoy the rest of the senior year and enjoy your summer, and good luck next year.
Thank you.
So congratulations, it's quite an achievement, and not much I can add to what my colleagues have to say. Try to squeeze a little fun in there, although I think your art and your karate and your hockey's fun. So good luck, and we'll see you at graduation.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night. All right. Item 2.2, Barnstable Intermediate School Partnership with the Cordial Eye and the Max Courage Essay winners.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. And incredible accomplishments that we just heard. I'd love to switch a resume with him if that were possible. Yeah, and special shout out to Bish and Harper for coming up here and speaking today. I fortunately took the easy way out, and there's a video prepared to speak about this partnership, which I'm fortunate to play for you all. Before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to the teachers up here and, teachers throughout the district, as it's, Staff Appreciation Week. So special thank you to BIS staff and teachers throughout Barnstable and throughout Massachusetts. So thank you for all you do. And nice transition to what you're going to see here, which is very much teacher-led in collaboration, with the ELA department and Barnstable High School, another pathway in which the two schools collaborate. So special thank you to Mike Andrews for putting this together, and I'm going to let you learn about the BIS highlight in education.
Good evening, school committee. My name is Mike Andrews. I teach 6th grade English at BIS, and I've been asked to speak on behalf of our department, comprised of myself, Mary Wall, Suzanne Polakronis, Bonnie Hickey, and led by Laura Welch as our curriculum coordinator, about our ongoing efforts and partnership with the Max Courage Foundation and the growth that we've had through some different grant opportunities to make that program even stronger here at BIS. To start off, we want to celebrate our 2025 Max Courage Fellows, Savannah Barron, Augusta Lutke, Kenneth Medina, and Olivia Pollock, who are all now published authors in the 2025 essay anthology, writing about their own personal narrative of courage within their lives. These students will also be recognized on May 22nd at a special luncheon in Boston with all the other local winners from Massachusetts and close New England states. A little bit of background around Max Courage. Max Courage has been a partner of BIS for the past 7 years here and has been fully implemented by all 6th grade teams for the past 3 years. Max Courage itself is in its 32nd year, and it has a focus on writing an SEL curriculum so that students can find their own voices and moments of courage to explore as a class and then individually. The culmination of this becomes an essay publishing contest where students submit their pieces to a blind judging panel to be chosen. For the second year in a row, all 4 teams are represented in our fellows who have won, which shows really a testament to the fidelity of the program among the department and the incredible stories that are being told by our students. In recent years, the 6th grade ELA department has also done some grant work in order to keep this program robust and to highlight so many different things. First off, a thank you to the Enoch Cobb Trust, who funded the creation of banners going all the way back to 2019 with our first BIS Max Courage Fellows who were published, and all the way through this current year. These banners live in our lobby and are a consistent reminder of the incredible work that our students do. Additionally, our library staff, Deirdre Eldridge and Ashley Aceto, have created a Max Courage Corner, which we are going to build on, where students can look at the books, read the stories as our own personal collection. More on our work with different grants. This year, the 6th grade English department wrote and was awarded a $5,000 Massachusetts Cultural Council grant for creative schools who are combining the arts with the humanities. This grant allowed for every single 6th grader here at BIS to attend a field trip at the Cordial Eye, which is on Hyannis Main Street. The Cordial Eye is a growing partner of ours here in BPS. They've done work with the high school art department, and they are doing more and more work with us here at BIS. We were also lucky to have Superintendent Ahern and Assistant Superintendent Harmon be able to swing by some of these field trips and see the work in action and understand how deep this partnership can grow and really enhance the students' work. Here you'll see our kids write in action. During the field trip itself, Our students worked with local Cape Cod teaching artists, creating tiles of representing either their Max Courage story, their personal narrative moments, and really brainstorming about the people they wanted to bring to those tiles. While the students are going to take the tiles home as a keepsake of this year and of their work, the teaching artists also created digital mosaics of all the pieces that you can see here on this slide. Working now with the BHS Hawks Nest printing services, another connection that we are strengthening and making between BIS and BHS. The grant is helping to fund a vinyl banner creation, which will live with the library with our Max Courage collection. Mr. Arlington is here with us tonight, and he is going to be able to hand out current anthologies of this year's Max Courage. Please use your table of contents and go right to our BIS winners. If you're interested in learning more, the Max Courage website is posted here on this slide. And if you'd like to see it all in action with some incredible student voice in video, if you go to YouTube and you search for Courage in Barnstable, you'll see that BIS was a highlighted school several years ago and has some of our now high school students talking about their pieces and their connections to the program. At current, BIS is the only Cape Cod middle school doing this work with Max Courage, and it shows the enduring work of our students' voice and their courage that they show every day. Thank you so much.
So page 30 is going to be the first published Barnstable author in which you'll see, and then the 3 others are throughout the book. Just to highlight what Mike said there, again, a special thank you for him for putting this together. He couldn't be with us tonight. But we're the only school on Cape doing this. So when we're looking at ways to differentiate ourselves, to keep Barnstable students in Barnstable, this is one of those avenues. And the partnerships at which Mike has created, the ELA department has created, has been tremendous, and they're already actively planning for next year and what the partnership with the Core July could be and what the Max Courage essay could be. 2 students who presented as envoys participated in this. So it's growing, it's a differentiator, and I think from a teaching perspective, it's an opportunity to really build a relationship with the student, learning about, their courage essays. So it really fosters that relationship. So wonderful program, and thank you all for letting us highlight it tonight.
Questions, comments?
Well, just, appreciation, really, for, thinking outside the box and creating a long-lasting legacy. To be able to hang banners in your school is an awesome thing, and to make those connections between community and kids is imperative. I have always been kind of a fan of intergenerational connections. So when the Youth Commission would reach out to the Senior Center and do things with them, it was always really moving what would happen. So I just think the more we can do that, the better off we'll be as a society. So it's really exciting to have it happen in Barnstable, and I'm proud that we're the only ones, although I wish others would hop on board. Great job, thank you.
Andre?
Tyler, again, to add on to what Jen said, thrilled that we're leading the way here. If other districts decide to take part in a good thing, I'm all for it, but this is one of the things that makes us distinctive here in Barnstable. 2 things I'll add to that. I'm thrilled about the idea of long-form writing and the idea of students taking a step back from the flickering images to express themselves and to kind of dive a little bit deeper, and BIS kind of pushing students in that direction, right? Because we communicate quite a bit, with this, short, quick, little blast of dopamine, and then, on to the next. It's not very substantive. So this idea, that we are going to push you to think a little hard, dig a little deeper, and step away from the flickering images, get back to some cold media, words, page, hand, that's tremendous. Core July, this connection is outstanding. They have the new facility right on Main Street, partnering with Belonging Books. They do a lot of work going to different schools, talking to students. And so maybe some of the essay award writers and winners, these might be our future. Go down to Hyannis West, read to those students, talk to those students, get them excited about writing, so on and forth. So this is great, congratulations. But those are 2 of the things, that I'm seeing. Cold media, words, page, take a step back from the flickering images, long form, express yourself, and not just, LOL. Good. No. What's really going on and getting into some of the deeper things. This is Children's Mental Health Month, as something I'm thinking about, right? So these are the type of things that I think improve. So.
And to speak to the first point, Andre, the connectivity with the high school, there's been writing workshops throughout this process where the teams have gone up to BHS, and in the library they've worked with high school students for peer editing. So I participated in that. Sarah, I saw you there as well. So just to see that collaborative process with the high schoolers working with the middle schoolers was great.
Mike?
A couple things. Awesome job. Thank Mike.
Thank you,
Obviously,
Mike.
if you're watching,
Yeah.
Mike, thank you. Couple things. First of all, I always like when I see schools working with each other. Not like, okay, so you're doing the reading and doing the workshop, but like you use the Hawk's Nest to do the printing. And you're using, the other thing I love is we have banners all over our schools about sports. Sports is only one aspect of our lives. Academics is a huge part of education. Some people forget that sometimes. So the fact that we have banners hanging for academic achievements is a great thing. We just don't do that enough. Like, you just don't walk around schools and see that, right? You don't see academic banners hanging up. You see sports banners. So, and I always get nervous about, what are we sending a message to our kids that sports is the priority over academics? Like, that to me is kind of a really big problem. So the fact that you have banners hanging up in the gym for academics is phenomenal. And like I said, the fact that you use the Hawk's Nest and you use it in workshops and stuff like that, the more schools you can get involved in a project, I think the better it is for the kids. Being, like Andre said, younger or older, you know what I mean? The more you can get involved, and if they're younger, they can do it when they get up there. And and then the high school kids can work, and then when they get to high school, they could be the leaders of that group coming up to them. So it's just, the more we can, thank you for doing that, because that's really, I think, a really important thing in our school system when we have so many schools, is to get them more into related projects. And I know we do, but the more we can do that, this is just one of them, right? So, but thank you very much for coming tonight.
Not much left to say after this. That's the sad thing of going last. But I do appreciate everything the teachers have done. I know that I think English is one of the hardest, and writing the hardest subjects to teach, at least from my perspective. And I'm amazed at how literate and how well-spoken these young people are. So great job. Please extend my appreciation to your staff, and congratulations to your students.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, thank you to Mikey Andrews for putting this together and bringing this opportunity to Barnstable, Caitlin Sweeney at the high school, to collaborate with a writing workshop. So thank you. I mean, I'm hearing the thanks from you all, but it's really to them. So I appreciate sharing what they've done for the school. All right. Thank you.
Have a nice evening. All right, our item 2.3, these DECA students are very involved in other aspects and have some other outside commitments, so I let them know they can share their experience at DECA. They did very well, brought home some awards, and they'll be here in June. So we're postponing that item. So now we're under routine business. Item 3.1, the student envoy report from Barnstable High School students.
Hi. This is our last one.
This is it.
Yeah? All right. So first, I want to start off with AP exams. Obviously, you were just talking to Nick, so you know that they're underway. They started this week. I have 3 back-to-back, so I had one yesterday, had one today, and have one tomorrow. But then I'm done, so that's good. Yeah, overall, just lots of stress, lots of reviewing. If you're not in an AP exam and you show up to class, you're doing review. So that's kind of
Either way, you're.
Yeah, either way, you're suffering. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
Prom is coming up. It's on the 23rd, along with the celebration, which I'm really excited for, where there's like activities like mechanical bull. I know they do like air painted tattoos. All of it just sounds a lot of fun. I'm really excited for both activities. So yeah, prom tickets are on sale this week. So that's good.
And then senior final day is the 29th. So we have final exams that entire week. We actually have final exams starting. Oh, starting the Thursday before prom. And then final exams continue on, and 29th is the day of our senior countdown, where we count down the last day.
Last Friday, we had our annual fashion show. Over 200 looks were shown, along with, I think it was 7 or 8 senior lines, which were so amazing. It was so amazing to see all the hard work, especially the seniors, with their lines put into and all that's led up to, along with we were able to honor Miss Butterfield, as she was the one who organized it at the end. We actually both got to model, which was a really great experience. Cool. And yeah, it was apparently 500 people showed up to watch, and it was a huge success, along with the art show that went along with it.
And also seeing it behind the scenes, the amount of organization and time that it takes to put on a show that actually looks very professional, in my opinion, is crazy. They had
a lot.
They had PAs with hooked up earplugs, and they were talking into them. I was this is serious. So that was amazing to see. And then May 1st was commitment day for all the seniors. So we're all officially committed. Riley's going to Vanderbilt, and I'm going to BC, so that's amazing. And seeing everyone with their sweatshirts on for the school they committed to, that was just so amazing. It felt like the perfect day. Everyone was so happy and so excited to finish off the school year strong and then go to college.
Yeah. So like we said, this is our last meeting, so this is our goodbye. But we have our successor here for you, Caitlin.
Caitlin is here to watch us do our thing, see kind of how it goes. And then she is going to be doing this next year along with someone else who we don't know yet, but they'll be here.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm really excited to come here next year.
And then finally, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for the opportunity to do this for 2 years. It's been an amazing experience, and I'm really going to miss it.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent.
Jen?
That's awesome. I went to BU. Sorry, but but anyway, good luck to you both. They're both great schools, and you're ready. You're so ready for the next step, and you're leaving some big shoes to fill. But I've known Caitlin for a long time, since I don't know, you were 4 or something. So I think that that she'll do just fine. So we look forward to hearing from you. Come back and see us.
You're welcome.
Andre?
Parting is such sweet sorrow, and first term here on the school committee, and so working with you guys, being at the meetings, well done. How you guys have spoken to what's going on in the school, your journeys yourself. I think you guys are kind of role models, in terms of the hard work and the success that goes along with it. And we have these meetings, and we want to highlight what goes on and our standouts, but that's not really what makes a standout, okay? The hard work, okay, consistently over time is what's allowed you guys to get where you are. And so just, congratulations in terms of where you're going. I do need to speak to a couple things that you brought up, because I was at the fashion show, and it was a packed house, okay, and just tremendous. You're quite humble there. You were a participant, but then you were also, Paloma, a host of the fashion show, along with Mr. Shea, and that was it was tremendous. Just in terms, second year or third that I've went, and it just continues to build and grow. And you saw the response from the community, okay, old, alumni, current student, we just had everybody there, and it was just an ensemble event that really kind of speaks to what makes Barnstable distinctive. So I'm glad you brought that up. You guys are riding off into the sunset, but I'm sure we'll see you, is my point. We'll see you at different events, and of course, don't forget to come back. Okay, congratulations.
So, as I said before, this is the fun time of the year. This is the fun time of senior year. So finish the AP courses, finish the tests, and then have some fun. Try to enjoy the end of your senior year, because it only comes once. So, I guess you're going to Six Flags, I hear. I always do that to people. I do that to the superintendent all the time. She'll be like, Mike, I was going to bring that up. Sorry. But no, enjoy the rest of the senior year. Enjoy the summer. Be careful and have a good year next year. Enjoy college and that freshman year of moving it away and all that stuff. The good, the stress and all of that stuff. But enjoy it. You deserve it. And it was, as I said the last meeting, I remember when you both came a couple of years ago, I was still a chair. I remember meeting you for the first meeting, and you guys have grown unbelievably. Sitting up here, public speaking is no one's forte, to be honest with you. You got to kind of grow into it. I think you've both grown into it spectacularly. So, good job, and good luck in the future.
Thank you so much for keeping us updated. We love to hear about the schools. And we really need that constant communication directly from you. And you brought a lot of joy, a lot of energy with us. Take your name tags, take them with you, and thank you for everything. Congratulations. Enjoy BC and Vanderbilt. And say hello to Shay Ralph. Go to a basketball game? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay. Item 3.2, public comment.
Bye, pal.
Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and 30 minutes total. Public comment at Barnstable School Committee meeting is limited to the town of Barnstable residents, taxpayers, Barnstable Public Schools employees, students, or family members. Students will be allowed up to 3 minutes to present their material and must begin their comments by stating their name and village. An extension of the speaker's time may be granted at the discretion of the chair. There will be no debate or action taken on public comment items. The committee will take items under advisement, or the individual will request an item to be placed on a future agenda. The chair will also allow public comment at her discretion during the meeting. Is anybody here for public comment? Come on up.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Shruti Amatye, and we reside in 326 Beechers Way. So my comment is about the sidewalks. Especially, I'm not sure about the route, but the 326 Beechers Way, the Beechers Way route does not have the sidewalks. And it's very hard being a mom. I have 4-year-old kid and 13-year-old boy, and they have several other kids in the neighborhood, but there is no sideways. And if my parents has to take a walk in morning or nighttime, evening walk, I'm always scared. And it has been kind of like shortcut road for the main 28 route to the main street like that. And then they rush, the car goes in the speed more than 40, 50 speed, like sports car, and the big trucks. And it's like residential area. Even the speed is low, but also there is no sidewalks, not even 1 feet of sidewalk. And to go pick him up from to his school, to my younger son, Enopkov School, sometimes to drop him off, it's always so scary. And you don't know, when kids run outside the house, you cannot have eyes on them. So that has been always a big challenge and always a big concern for me and for my neighborhood in that area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
May I comment? I think that your comments will be better heard at the town council meetings, because we do only school stuff.
Oh.
So the town council meets on the first and third Thursday of every month, and it's in this room, and I think they meet at 6 p.m. They changed it to 6. But you have a counselor that can help guide you through the process of seeing what that might look like for sidewalks. But I completely agree with you. It's dangerous there.
Yes, it is very dangerous and risky also.
Yeah. So
Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you
your
for coming in and
suggestion.
speaking. I appreciate it.
Great.
And
Thank you.
congratulations on your family.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you very
yeah.
much.
If I may, you said 320 Pitchers Way?
Yes, like, yeah, Peaches Way.
320 Pitchers Way?
My house is
Right, right.
326 Peaches Way. So that lane, that lane does not have sidewalk at all.
Yeah. So thank you again for sharing. To my colleague's point, this is, in terms of getting the sidewalks, but it's helpful for us to know in terms of our transportation routes, the buses going through there, and just to be mindful of these things. So thank you very much. And we'll certainly follow up, just taking a look at that particular intersection and those specific transportation routes to make sure that, that they're safe. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a nice evening. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Is anyone else here for public comment? No? All right. Public comment is now closed. Item 3.3, School Committee Subcommittee and Liaison Reports. Jen?
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring everybody up to date. We had a meeting on April 14th, which was a facility subcommittee meeting, kind of focusing on fields. And basically the upshot of the meeting was we need a lot more information. So we're still digging around for that. And the next meeting hasn't yet been settled, but or scheduled, I should say. But I did want to let everybody know that Andre and myself and Sarah and a lot of staff met together to talk about those things and to try to figure out provenance and if there's a way that could help us out of sticky budget situations in any way, shape, or form, or maybe just if there's any relief that could happen in the budget because of the maintenance or whatever. So I just wanted to say that.
Andre, Subcommittee or Liaison Report?
Thank you, Kathy. In terms of the facilities subcommittee, as Jen said, been meeting, last meeting taking a look at our athletic fields and how to prioritize, maintain, and also to make our athletic fields accessible as much as possible to the public for their use. So I thought that was a productive meeting. That is the one subcommittee that I sit on. But I am the representative for the Cape Cod Collaborative, and I just wanted to report to the community that the Articles of Agreement have been approved by all of the area schools. Forwarded a copy of that to Kathy as chair, so she has that. And so Plymouth coming on board, which I supported, is now official. And so I think Dr. Hanscom did yeoman's work getting out to all the different districts to make her presentation. And so those have been approved, and we are moving forward into the spring and summer months. Thank you.
Mike?
Nothing.
And Policy Committee has not met, so I don't have any report. Item 3.4, School Committee Comments. Back to Jen.
I just would like to say that I'm really looking forward to the strategic planning. I don't know if everyone on the committee that's here has had the opportunity to speak with Abby Fulham, but she's very circumspect, very patient, and I think very well-rounded in her knowledge about things. And so I'm really looking forward to see what we can spearhead together. So that's all.
Andre?
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Couple things to note for the community. Today is May 7th. May 6th, yesterday, was MASCAC's Day on the Hill, where school committee members go up to Beacon Hill and meet with our legislators to look at priorities and things that we are advocating for and certainly need in our districts. So first of all, and this has been noted before in terms of our discussions surrounding budget and the way forward, is that adjusting the Chapter 70 aid for past and future inflation is a primary focus of the Massachusetts Association of School Committees. We want to also establish and fund financial literacy curriculums in the different schools. So just to note, again, it is specific to the budget, the Chapter 70 formula is something that our legislators are aware of, and myself as a school committee member specifically, and then our overarching organization, the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, are really pushing to get this formula adjusted, so our public schools, which I never mind reminding people are number one in the nation, have all of the resources that they need. It was noted when Tyler gave his presentation what was outstanding. I'm going to be speaking a little bit more about Tyler because he was highlighted for Principal Appreciation Month. But it was noted that May is Children's Mental Health Awareness Month, and today actually happens to be Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. And so, again, just making sure that you're checking in. We have a number of tremendous resources, our community mentors, our peer leaders, our Hope Squad here in Barnstable Public Schools. Just reach out, ask, and get those supports that you need. I also want to add to that, speaking of the symmetry, the connection between us as school committee members and also our elected officials. Our state representative, Kip Diggs, in view of the fact that it's Mental Health Awareness Month, put together a program featuring experts in the field, commissioners and legislators, as well as stakeholders. There's quite a bit of valuable information shared. Again, addressing children's mental health. So, we talk about A's and B's, we talk about standout athletes, all of those types of things. Mental health has no, you just don't know is the bottom line when it comes to mental health. Okay, individuals who outwardly seem very successful, confident, aspiring, they could be struggling. Okay, so fortunate to have the good work of our representative Kip Diggs putting together that program for other legislators, and just to note that this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and for us in Barnstable Public Schools to be aware and mindful, and just to support, again, all of the great things that we have. Hope Squad, community mentors. There's a lot of supports that our students have that wasn't the case when I was there in school, that just benefits students greatly.
Mike?
So I only have one thing. If anybody's been watching the school committee for years, they know that I'm a big about BHS celebration, which is the after prom party for a drug and alcohol free post prom party. So what happens is the prom is at a local hotel or hotel conference center, and then the kids come back to Barnstable High School, and they have all kinds of activities, food. For the kids, they come in, they're there from midnight till 5, I think, or 6, I forget. It gets so blurry at that time in the morning. So I'm not as involved in it, but it's still an extremely important event. Having been a firefighter and a paramedic for a long time, unfortunately, I've been involved in these type of situations, and it just destroys a town. So anything we can do to keep our kids safe is extremely important. So having said that, Barnstable Celebration 2025, they have a Facebook page. It's Barnstable Celebration 2025. They are still looking for a lot of volunteers for that night. They are also looking for donations. It costs a lot of money for that one night to keep a whole slew of high school kids entertained for, probably 6 or 7 hours. So they need donations, financial donations. They also need still a bunch of volunteers if you're interested in doing it. If you go to Barnstable High School Celebration 2025 on Facebook, they have a whole slew of links from, let's see, they have, if you want to email them, bhscelebration@gmail.com. They have an Amazon registry. They have YouTube videos. They have sign-up genies for all the different events they need help with. They give you a spot where if you want to make a donation, where to send it to. Please, people, we need to help this out. This has been a tough year. I know I was directly involved the last couple of years, and it's just getting harder and harder and harder to put on this event. Financially, volunteerism, the whole 9 yards is just not as easy as it used to be. So we need to pull together as a town, and I understand that there's a lot of things that are like this as far as all the businesses in town. I've always said, like, all the businesses in town get hit over and over and over for donations, sports teams and this type of stuff, and DECA and all kinds of stuff. And I they're all important, but this is directly for the safety of our kids. And let's face it, our number one priority for any parent in this town or country or world is their kids. And this is for prom night to keep our kids safe. So please reach out to me if you have any questions, and I can put you in contact. What's our email? judge_mike@mybps.us. And I'll put you in contact with who you need to be in contact with. Please pass it along to people. They really need a lot of volunteers, and they still need some pretty donations. So please don't let it fall apart. It's been going on for, I think this is year number 31, which is crazy. It's been going on for 31 years with volunteers for the last 31 years. And we can't let this fall apart. So please think about trying to help out in any way you can. But that's my pitch for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. It's actually fun to volunteer.
Andre's been there with me. Kathy's been there with me. Sarah's come. It's actually, you get an energy drink and it's so funny because the kids, it's really a lot of fun to volunteer for that night. It's crazy because every kid, they're all high school kids. They're seniors. They think they're invincible. So every kid comes in and says, I'm staying up all night. And by about 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 2:30, they're all like, this kid's just everywhere sleeping, like literally everywhere, on seats, on floors, everywhere. And then all of a sudden they wake up and they get their second wind around 5, around 4:35. They kind of get, and they bring breakfast in for them and stuff like that. And then, like, they're like, I did it. And it's like, I remember seeing you drooling in the corner sleeping. You didn't do anything. But no, it's a lot of fun. Get a friend, come. You get to kind of stay you get to kind of stay together if you want. Grab a friend, come that night. They look for help the week before to set it up. They look for help that next morning to take it all down because it takes about a week to put it up. And they have, when it ends at 6 a.m., people stay or new people come in or people stay and they pick it all up and it's all away by about 11. And it's putting the trailer over by the field house till next year. So it's literally that quick because it has to be all picked up and ready to go. And I was involved in the picking up part for a lot of years, and you don't want to come back. Once you go home, you want to be there. So, but please help in any way you can. Thank you.
And I would just like to mention that I was able to stop in at Jazz Night and caught only the last bit of music piece, but which was disappointing. But I did have the pleasure of seeing all of our talented students win their awards. And again, it shows just that the talent is so deep in the music area. One thing that was enjoyable to see were the number of students interested in music, and it was mentioned that they were headed towards a music education career. So that was like a double bonus. So congratulations to all the musicians. Congratulations to all the staff, teachers and staff who put that music and the plays and everything that goes with that fine arts area together.
Yeah, I just need the, thank you so much.
While Andre's setting up, shout out to all the staff for Teacher Appreciation Week, too. Your efforts are heroic, and you touch many people's lives, and we appreciate that.
So thanks, Mike. April was a very busy month in Barnstable Public Schools. As I like to say, we are a large, we are a diverse, and we are a dynamic community, and we're going to see a number of things that make Barnstable distinctive, things that you can only find in Barnstable that I'm glad to report. So the BHS Community Mentor students teamed up with BCIS students to plant seeds in small containers, preparing them for their new home in the community garden. This is our BHS mentors getting down to BCIS and helping them plant seeds in their upcoming community garden. Staying at BCIS, the spring concert took place at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. Students in grades K through 3 performed at HYCC. A huge thank you to Miss Hillslip, BCIS music teacher, for organizing such a joyful and memorable event. Our students shined bright and filled the room with music and smiles. We're going to move over to Hyannis West, where to wrap up their King and Queen unit, Hyannis West kindergarten classes hosted a grand royal ball. The day was filled with a royal parade, lively dancing, and the fun game, Pin the Crown on the King and Queen. It was a magical day of celebration, fit for royalty. This taking place at Hyannis West Elementary. Staying there for Shark Week, the Atlantic White Shark Conservatory, hosted an event for our third grade students. This event dovetailed with the math unit that they were studying. This is the Atlantic White Shark Conservatory. Thank you so much. We're going to head over to Barnstable, West Barnstable Elementary, where spring vibes were in full bloom for the Story and Craft Night. Students decorated pots and planted their own succulent plants while enjoying a reading of The Empty Pot, a beautiful story about honesty and growth, a fun and meaningful evening full of creativity and connection. Staying at BWB, they held their Astronomy Museum Day. This is one of our community writers. I apologize. Astronomy Museum Day will be up. That came in to speak to our students. This is a community author that came in to speak to our students about what is a family. Now we're on track. This is the Astronomy Museum Day at BWB. Students are learning all about the cosmos, the different connections, different kinds of activities. And so great job to our BWB students. I'm skipping ahead. Enrichment night at Barnstable United Elementary School was a hit. From the art show and bottom making activities to fun gym activities, including yoga, robots, binary bracelets, and stop animations with technology, there was something for everyone. A shout out to the PTA who hosted a raffle basket extravaganza to raise funds for the Needs organization who will be training an assistance dog for BUES. Thank you to the high school students that volunteered and attended to support such an amazing cause. Staying at Barnstable United Elementary, Arbor Day celebration took place. We want to thank Dave Chalker from Bartlett Tree Experts for teaching the students not only at BUES, but also at West Villages the importance of Arbor Day. Thanks for their generosity. Every student went home with their own magnolia plant. That's nearly 1,000 new trees coming to Cape Cod. Wonderful. We're not done yet. The Walk for Water took place as part of our Perseverance study. BUES students read A Long Walk of Water, the inspiring story of Salva Dutt. After learning about his mission to bring clean water to South Sudan, our students were inspired to take action. They proposed a walk for water, a 1-mile walk to raise awareness and honor those who walk daily for clean water. We're not done at BUES, I know. A huge shout out to now Dr. Brandon Bird, who successfully defended his dissertation over April vacation. Congratulations to him for his dedication, perseverance, and commitment. We have a new doctor at Barnstable United, Dr. Bird. Great job. Heading over to the intermediate school, the Barnstable High School Human Rights Club members took part in a presentation raising awareness about Title IX and students' rights to equitable athletic opportunities. A great job from the Human Rights Club at the high school. Again, getting down to the intermediate school and familiarizing them with Title IX. Exceedingly important legislation. Students in Miss Andrews' 7th grade Gateway Advanced Math class wrapped up their unit on personal finance with some dessert. In the face of their teachers and administrators, 4 students purchased the opportunity to smush a pie in the faces of Miss Andrews, Associate Principal Michael Faria, BIS Principal Tyler Arlington. Students earned imaginary money by engaging in challenging classwork and participating in class discussions while paying bills and balancing their own accounts. Students analyzed pay stubs, calculated taxes owed using their IRS tax bracket, converted global currencies, and studied credit cards and credit card scores. Staying again at BIS, our talented 7th and 8th grade musicians from Barnstable, not only Barnstable, Dennis Yarmouth, Mashpee, Lighthouse Charter, Cape Cod Academy, Monomoy, and Nauset came together for an unforgettable concert. See the different teachers there leading the way. Quite a collaborative effort for our intermediate students involving not just Barnstable, but Barnstable leading the way, which we're proud of, and a number of area schools. So we talked about it being Principal Appreciation Day, and Principal Arlington was here. And the good folks at BIS celebrated by getting a cake for not just Principal Arlington, but also Associate Principal Faria and Associate Principal Murtaugh for their incredible dedication to our students and staff. You are appreciated. Great job. It's been noted, I'm feeling the love personally as an educator for Teacher Appreciation Week, and there's a number of things going on here in Barnstable Public Schools. It means a tremendous amount. So thank you, and from the school committee lens to fellow teachers, this is the home stretch, day 151, but who's counting? But this puts wind in your sails as we are coming down the home stretch. We're going to move over to the high school now, where there's much to report. Thank you to Amy from Amy Bakery for sharing her expertise with the BHS culinary students through a fantastic Swiss buttercream demonstration. It's always great to see local businesses giving back to the community. Thank you to Amy Bakery. A sleepathon took place over a previous weekend. 30 members of the UKSD Community Leadership Club at Barnstable High School took part in an annual sleepathon, a powerful event designed to raise awareness and deepen understanding of childhood homelessness. Throughout the night, students built makeshift shelters and kept sports games going continuously, all while reflecting on the challenges faced by millions of young people living with housing insecurity worldwide. An incredible effort by a passionate and dedicated group of BHS students. We're proud and grateful to the leaders that we have in our community. Again, at the high school, the environmental science and technology students observed real-world solutions to water pollution, which is a big deal in this town, that they're getting the information for. During their tour of the Barnstable Wastewater Treatment Facility, special thanks to Andrew Brule and the entire facility staff for welcoming our students and providing this valuable educational opportunity. And this is something that is top of the list here in Barnstable, and so our students are seeing it firsthand and having the ability to make a contribution. Staying at the high school, our BHS seniors are cruising towards their futures. And a big step forward by completing their college placement testing for Cape Cod Community College, which in Massachusetts is free. This moment was made possible thanks to the amazing teamwork of the school counseling team and the 4 Cs admissions team. Again, students moving on, affordable to their next step, and a cost-friendly way of moving to their next step, which is outstanding. DECA couldn't be here with us tonight, but we're going to report on the good work that they're doing. This is the DECA Club hosted their 4th annual business breakfast. Local business leaders connected with our students to learn about their projects, share insights, and explore opportunities like internships, mentorships, turning classrooms into real-world learning experiences. Again, DECA couldn't be here tonight, but we're certainly appreciative of the great work that they are doing. More to report at the high school. I know, busy month. On April 4th, 11th grade students Kathleen Ramos and Harry McEthelhin, apologies in advance, attended the annual State Government Day at the Massachusetts State House in Boston. Student Government Day is an opportunity for you and fellow students from across the Commonwealth to experience the process of government by taking part in simulated activities in which you serve in a role of a government official. Students are assigned roles of state senator, state representative, constitutional officer, or Supreme Court justice, which Kathleen and Harry may very well one day be. Outstanding job to both. I want to recognize, again, Kathleen Ramos and Abby Sylvester, who received the Honorable Mention New England Scholastic Press Organization Award for their work with the Barnstable Insight. Outstanding job to both students. This is something that I, as an educator, and it being Teacher Appreciation Week, am very proud of. This is signing day for our students who have decided that they want to go into education and give back to communities like their own. And so it was noted how we highlight athletics, and we certainly have decades upon decades of rich athletic tradition, but recognizing our students that are going forward to be those next teachers, those next coaches, those next mentors, those next people to encourage our students. So a tremendous event for our students that are going on to become future educators. BHS Poetry Slam took place. This is the 16th year of Poetry Slam, where students raise their voices through poetry. We're proud of the brave poets for sharing their truth on stage. And again, something that we just talked about with the Max Courage Award. Okay, you write it, you believe it, and then you're able to get up on stage and present it. Outstanding job for Poetry Slam, 16th year in its existence. Folks, we're going to sprint to the home finish, but Jazz Awards Night took place, Kathleen noted, at the Performing Arts Center. It was an unforgettable evening, amazing jazz performances, and well-deserved recognition for a number of students. I had the opportunity to be there. They were able to recognize a number of seniors who have been in the program and contributed greatly to the program. And so Jazz Night took place, and it was tremendous. The fashion show was noted. Hundreds of community members, myself included, other people here on the dais were there. I was taken aback by just the lines that were seen. These are all students made all of these different outfits. They selected the individuals who they wanted to model the outfits. We included every component of our student population, bar none. They made sure that every section, every demographic within Barnstable High School got the opportunity to get up on that stage and display their fashion and creativity. It was a tour de force, absolutely outstanding. And as was noted, tremendous amount goes on behind the scenes to pull these things off seamlessly. And so at the end, the teachers coming up on stage to receive their applause, was the cherry on top of just an unbelievable night. And then the art show that went along with it as well. We're going to cover athletics. I want to note, this is Manuel Rivera, who has won a football award from the Massachusetts High School Football Coaches Association. He's one of 3 high school players to be presented with the Paul Costello Courageous Player Award. This took place in Westboro. He talked about his experience, and to quote him, he says, "I'm not going to let autism take over me." Coach DeCola, Coach Stemple were there with him. He got a chance to get in the game during the Falmouth game and make tremendous contributions. His teammates were cheering him on. So congratulations to Manuel Rivera on winning the Paul Costello Courageous Player Award. I want to shout out Emily Johnson, Boston Globe Player of the Week. This is one of our girls lacrosse players who's representing Barnstable quite well. Congratulations. And to conclude, folks, I know it's been, but we have to highlight, this is our Barnstable boys volleyball team in a game against Greater New Bedford Vogue, which I'm familiar with, and went out there, competed well. Our team's off to a great start, doing well. And we know we have a number of state championships on the girls' side, and our boys volleyball players are quite hungry to bring a state championship to the spring season for us here in Barnstable. Thank you.
Item 3.5, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you. There are certainly amazing things happening in Barnstable, and I will talk about a few additional ones, and I want to maybe hang a sign on one particular noteworthy moment from some of the things that I've been attending recently. The fashion show was truly outstanding, and Andre, I'm so glad that you talked about how everybody was represented. For 2 hours, hundreds of people, I think it was over 500, I know they said 500 tickets were sold, but they ran out of programs, and there were not quite a packed house in the pack, but there were lots and lots of people there. And what I reflect on is that for 2 hours, the applause and the cheers didn't wane. It didn't stop. It didn't matter who was on stage and whose clothing was being shown. It was really such a celebration and there was so much support of our students and the program from everybody in the audience who represented the high school, but there were lots and lots of people from our K-7 buildings, and there were lots of community members there. So it was really, really outstanding. One particular senior portfolio really stood out. There was a lot of goosebumps among people in the audience and just real pride, and that was Kiara Scibelli. The senior showing off her fashion line had asked several of our students from the NEC program to be her models. And so it was really a remarkable and inclusive event all around for 2 hours. So just congratulations to everybody involved. I'm not going to belabor my remarks on the art show and the enrichment night and the business breakfast by DECA. They were all outstanding. There really are truly tremendous things happening in the district. Not everything makes its way to Instagram, so I do want to note a special event that I had the opportunity to attend in Miss Latine's pathology class. She is taking a graduate course herself, and through that course, she got connected to a scientist in Brazil who studies viruses. And so through Zoom, she hosted him as a guest speaker on the 1st of May. As a Portuguese speaker, he spoke in his native language, and it was interpreted into English. So it sort of flipped the script and put our Portuguese speakers in a little bit more of an advantaged position with respect to the content and engaging with the speaker. The students learned about several mosquito-borne viruses, including the Zika virus, which made a lot of headlines back in 2015 or so. So it was great knowledge that I took away as well, related to the history, their symptoms, means of infection, and then why viruses are getting worse in today's day and age, and prevention, which includes trying to eradicate, but certainly control the mosquito population. Students were very, very engaged and interested, asking questions both about the virus and then also about his career path. So again, some really interesting things happening in our core curriculum. And I felt really honored with Teacher Appreciation Week this week to have been able to greet our 9 students who signed their commitments to pursue careers as educators, and greet the number of students. We're going to have over 180 students in our child development program next year in the child development courses. So that is really expanding and really taking off. And I want to congratulate the department chair, Vanessa Pai, and teachers Megan Fligg and Mrs. Gleason for putting this all together. In other news, I wanted to let the committee and the community know that the governor has put together a council to look at graduation requirements. With question 2 passing in the fall, she had later announced that she was going to put together something of a council and a task force to look at graduation requirements so that it's not solely up to individual school committees through policies to determine competency determination and to develop something more system-wide for the state. Secretary of Education, who's also the acting commissioner until the new commissioner is officially named, is leading that effort. And they reached out to Barnstable to see if we would allow them to use the high school, and we will, for a listening session. So they're going to be in town on June 9th at 5 p.m. They're doing listening sessions at various locations across the state to hear from stakeholders and constituents about what people are looking for out of their work. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. Little update on some of the facilities work as it relates to our contractor, Enviromed. They spent March and April doing very, very thorough analyses of all of our 9 buildings. Last week, we received draft reports from them. It probably encompasses over 1,000 pages of documentation, many of which are pictures, so it's not 1,000 pages to read. We are currently reviewing those, and we will be meeting with Enviromed, we meaning people from HR, people from facilities, and myself will be meeting with Enviromed next week. Anything that required immediate action has already taken place, and that was really only in one location at BCIS, in a teacher's room, not a classroom, but in the teacher's room where there's a little more opportunity. So that was remediated. And in general, the IAQ, the indoor air quality, is coming back very good in terms of all of the things that they're measuring. But we'll do much more communication. Part of that meeting, we'll be talking about a communication plan and allowing Enviromed to share the results and us to share the results with you and our school community. Also facilities related, all of the capital improvement projects that went before Town Council last Thursday night were approved. So we'll be looking towards design and putting those out to bid as soon as we're able. A couple upcoming events. We have many seniors doing internships, and that showcase is coming up on Monday, May 19th at 8:45 in the morning to 10:30. So that's always a wonderful event to see the students sharing what they're learning through their internships. And then a number of us, district and school leaders, we thought it would be good to reach out to the grade 3 parents and guardians. We haven't done this before, but we thought that we would host a grade 3 parent and guardian night at BUES to help talk about the transition from grades to 3 to 4, share more about the curriculum, let people get to know us a bit, let them get to know the administration at the United Elementary School, what sort of SEL supports we have, and then to take a building tour. That's what I have.
Questions, comments?
No, thank you very much for the updates.
Andre?
Yes, Dr. Ahern, I received, I remember you said about the bids that went to the town that they had requested that you take I remember getting an email saying that they had requested that you take a step, take a look at the bids,
Yep.
and then see based on our financial place, and then kind of report back to them. And then I didn't hear anything after that. So just, did our original proposal,
Yep.
the original proposal went through? We didn't have to?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, so the town manager had asked all of the departments who put capital projects forward to kind of do a review before appearing before town council to make sure that they indeed were kind of most critical in terms of safety and service. And part of that review was in light of potential supply delays, potential escalation of cost due to the uncertainty related to tariffs. And so Chris Dwelly, Doug Ballanger, and I, following that meeting with the town manager, had met together and went through all of the projects and basically said, we have to do these. We don't know what's coming in terms of the uncertainty, but we need to put this forward and continue to work on the maintenance of our buildings. So everything that you had previously seen went to the town council and has been approved.
Thank you.
Mike?
A great idea for that third grade night at the 4-5 building. I know with my 4 kids, that was probably the biggest transition, was actually going from West Villages over to the 4-5. It was huge. It was big. You get lost. I'll just speak for my kids. That was probably the biggest apprehension, going from the little neighborhood school to the big, bad 4-5 building. So that's great. We do it for the 7th graders going to the high school. So that's another, that's kind of a scary transition. And I know teachers in the 3rd grade, I know a lot of the kids in 3rd grade have a lot of fear. And I know the teachers bring them over during the day, but to let the family kind of see it. So when their child is talking about something that they saw, the family can kind of oh yeah, we saw that too, or they can be with whoever they're with, their family, to kind of go through it together. So that's a fantastic idea.
And I don't think I mentioned the date, if I might jump in. May 21st, so 2 weeks from tonight at 6 p.m. We put a save the date out, and sorry.
I just know there's a lot of apprehension every year for the 3rd graders, so thank you for doing that.
Yeah. And I have nothing. Thank you. 3.6, Assistant Superintendent's Report. Kristen?
Thank you. So I also have to start with the fashion show. I'm sorry. It really was such an amazing event. And I think what's interesting is, everyone said their various parts, and I feel like we all took something different away, something in addition away. So I will start by saying I'm not sure if my comments tonight can really do the event justice. I'm glad that Andre had pictures that really did get to that. But I would say the energy and inclusivity of the event, the poise of the students on the catwalk, the beauty of the garments created by the students, and the support and involvement of so many BHS and BPS educators really was incredible. Starting with the energy and inclusivity, I would say it was a packed house. At least the sound, it was a packed house. The audience were loud. The students knew that the audience loved what they were seeing. I think the audience was amazed by the skill of our fashion designers. The hosts of the event provided introductions and descriptions in multiple languages. So Jeremy Shea would say it in English, and then we'd have it repeated in Spanish and in Portuguese. It was just amazing, ensuring that all in attendance knew that they knew what had inspired the designs on display. The poise of the students, they absolutely rocked the catwalk, whether they were wearing their own fashions or were modeling for others. They had confidence, they had attitude, and they had fun. As students passed each other on the catwalk, one walking out in towards the audience, the other returning back, there were high fives, there were fist bumps. The support that they showed one another just added to the energy and the community feel of the event. It goes without saying that the skill, style, beauty of the dresses, tops, shirts, skirts, cardigans, gowns, they were just nothing short of amazing. And I can't even imagine the amount of time going into creating one piece, let alone a senior collection. But the biggest takeaway from the show really was the sense of community. The multiple languages used in the presentation. I saw one of the wellness teachers helping in the concession stand. There was an English teacher that was helping people to their seats. There was a history teacher collecting tickets, and the list goes on. It really just brought everyone together, whether it was actually doing something or just being present. Colleagues supporting colleagues, whether to lend a hand or be in attendance to support and cheer for the students and the art department. It just was an amazing event. In other big news, you've heard me speak about our curriculum reviews. We have recently completed curriculum review process for both K-12 health and 6-12 math. The curriculum review process culminates with a consensus meeting where the data collected throughout the curriculum review process is shared. The data is reviewed, it's discussed. This is data from weekly surveys completed by pilot teachers. These surveys address particular focus areas for each week. It's feedback from student surveys. It's feedback from non-pilot teachers. All of this kind of goes in to the discussion, along with, in the math, we had an amazing fishbowl discussion where the pilot teachers had prompts they discussed, and then the teachers that were non-pilot teachers that were outside of the fishbowl had the opportunity to ask questions and get answers. We've conducted outreach to districts who are currently using the programs. We've reviewed data from the district profile page on the DESE website. We've had multiple meetings with the vendors for supporting educators as they've piloted materials. Our consensus meetings, so the health consensus meeting, their recommendation was for the district to move forward with Health Smart. It was 100% consensus. Everyone did agree that Health Smart was the best program to move forward with, to recommend to the superintendent. The outcome of the math consensus meeting was a recommendation for Reveal Math, with 73% of the math department recommending Reveal for adoption and 23% recommending Carnegie for adoption. Key factors, so where there was a little bit of a separation, although clearly Reveal was the strong preference, was access to additional practice opportunities for students, access to an online program, Alex, that supports the program, the range of resources that are available for teachers to support students through intervention. So for both of these programs, we'll be using the May 23rd in-service day for the implementation kickoff. Not together, they'll be two separate sessions, one for math, one for health, and then I'll say the real work begins after that. And then finally, the district review. This past week, we completed our district review with DESE, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. They had contracted with AIR, which is the American Institute for Research. So they contracted with this organization to complete the district review. As part of this process, we uploaded hundreds, and I mean hundreds of documents in advance of their visit. Last week, the consultants conducted 18 focus groups and individual interviews. These interviews involved upwards of 70 staff members. They also met with 2 student focus groups and 2 family focus groups. During their 4-day visit, AIR was in our schools visiting a total of 85 classrooms. I would like to thank the entire Barnstable community for their participation and assistance throughout the district review process. The process was comprehensive and involved so many people in so many different ways. So I really do appreciate all of the support and input that everyone provided. And we should be receiving a report from their visit in the next 2 to 3 months. So we'll have that coming soon. And that's it for today.
Questions, comments? All right, Andre, Mike?
I just need to publicly apologize to the poor gentleman who came down for the consultant for the school committee. He had Kathy and I. So anybody who knows Kathy and I knows we could talk to a wall for at least 2 hours with a good conversation, right? So I want to apologize. He was supposed to be an hour interview. I think he shut us off at 2. So please pass our apologies along to that gentleman. Thank you.
All right, new business. Item 4.1, approve the renaming of the Astro Park at Barnstable High School. Martha?
Can I frame this as
Sure,
Martha
go
comes
ahead.
forward? So just for the community and to just sort of set the stage for Martha here, the Astro Park had long been known as the Cobb Astro Park, and Mr. Hesslinga had asked us to reconsider the name and have it go through a formal process that it had not previously gone through before. And so Martha has been serving as the ambassador to the park for the past couple of years and shepherding this project along in a way that I think rebrands and involves student voice, current student voice in the effort. And I've noticed, I think, an increased usage of the space as of late. So thank you, Martha, for your efforts there, and welcome.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know the process and the final vote outcome. We put it out to the students that they could come up with any names they wanted to come up with, and we had probably over 100 different names come through, some of which were, silly and foolish, so we had to get rid of those. But Jason and I sat down and we narrowed it down to 10 names, and then the students voted of the 10 names, and we interviewed each of the students, and it's on B2B if you want to look it up on the YouTube. But we met 10 different students ranging in all 8 through 12 and all different kinds of kids, and came up with lots of different names. And then we narrowed it down, and they finally selected the students who voted Red Hawk Ridge. So plans to, along with your approval, to get that sign, the new sign put up. And then in the future, definitely a plan talking about possibly having a piece of art like a hawk actually on the library that you could see from a distance to complement the hawk that will be by the entrance to the field, Leo Shields Field. So to have that sort of, we've got a new name and we're loving our new name. And then also my goal really is to work with some of our National Honor Society students in some community service and creating some lessons that we can give to each of our departments and our core classes where they can take the students out there. And what I hope to try to teach some of those Honor Society kids who don't want to go into education is what it means to really create that lesson plan. Oh, you loved that lesson taught by that teacher? Great. Let's try to put that together, and what are the standards, and why do we need it, and put together a real binder digitally for our staff to use the space as an outdoor classroom. So that is the long-term goal, but for right now, Red Hawk Ridge it is, and the young woman who won was Summer Merides, and she got a lovely gift certificate to the Hawk's Nest, so she's now decked out in lots of clothing, which is wonderful, and she's actually not here tonight because she plays tennis, so she's over on the one of the islands playing tennis. So that is where she is. But if you ever run into her, she's a sophomore, so she'll be here for a couple more years.
All right, Mike?
Let's see. What number was it?
Right here. Move to approve.
Move to approve the renaming of the Astro Park at Barnstable High School to Red Hawk Ridge.
Discussion.
We need a second before there's discussion. Second. All right.
Discussion.
Andre?
Yeah, just some questions for Martha. Sorry. Thank you. We've been communicating and working just both within the Astro Park and then now the naming process for some years. And so I think you did a great job with this kind of shepherding as we're kind of moving forward into the next iteration. So Red Hawk Ridge it is, and we're going to get behind that. I did see, though, in the voting, it was less than 10% between Red Hawk Ridge and I believe Celestial Garden was second.
I believe it was.
Yes, Celestial Garden was second. And we had, so Red Hawk was about 35-ish to like 28. And then the other 3 selections were all kind of academic in nature. And Red Hawks is clearly athletic in nature. And so you noted, again, as somebody, Red Hawk Ridge it is. And so we're going to go forward. But the Cobb Astro Park is the creation of Mike and Mary Gyra and a number of other educators.
And Cobb.
And Cobb over a number of years. And so what I'm getting at is that, it always had an academic. It's an astro park. It's about astronomy. It's about the sciences. And so I just want to kind of, I know we've talked, just to explain to the community, like, are we going to make it now an athletic space or?
No.
Yes.
So first, you should understand that the idea of the space is to be an outdoor classroom for all of our teachers and all of our subjects. And that creating that space as an outdoor classroom with all of that beautiful artwork and all of the rest of it. Part of what I want to tell you about the name, and I totally understand your point, Audrey, is I want to recall when we went back to hubs or houses and we let the kids decide, and we had options like different beaches. One was going to be Sandy Neck. One was going to be different, you know, I mean, they had all these lighthouses, great ideas. The students chose A, B, C, D, and E. So what I have to tell you is that when you enlist the young people, that is what will happen. I need to be honest, I preferred some of the other names as well, but the idea of what I would like to do now that it has this name is, have you guys ever seen Finding Nemo? When they go to the rim, when they go to the edge of the reef, I want it to be like that, where you go to the ridge. When you go to the ridge, it's where you're learning in a place that's different than normal. You know, that it's an outdoor classroom, but I want to sort of, so I've got Mr. Farrell helping me with some stuff with one of his classes to try to sort of pitch it that way, that it is a place where we go, we challenge ourselves, we put ourselves out there doing something different. For instance, my classes do, you know, epi sword play when they do Shakespeare out there with their yardsticks and their umbrellas and, you know, things like that, where they're getting out of their comfort zone a little bit, not sitting in a chair and regurgitating information. So I would like it to be maybe nicknamed even just The Ridge. And when we head to The Ridge, that's what we're doing. So that space will really become that, Andre. And I appreciate your question.
Sure, because again, this is what the students want. This is what we're going with. That's the name, and it'll be good, and we'll have it up and all of that stuff. But we're not starting at year zero, you know. And we talk about just community members. We talk about alumni. You know, that was a wasteland for decades. Okay, until Mike Gyra, Mary Gyra, others, Ed O'Toole, a number of people, Cobb, you know, transformed it into what it is now, and what it has been, how it's been a bright shining light in our community for more decades. And so now we're turning the corner. I just ask, you know, in this, and I'm going to be very involved just because in my role here, and then just as a community member, there are very important spaces there. The Memorial Garden, for instance, among other very important spaces for the community, for the school, for all of us. And so just as we're passing the baton to the next iteration, Red Hawk Ridge, great. It's just going to need to be translated and understood for new people who have no familiarity. So if you're just entering the school and, oh, this is Red Hawk Ridge, and obviously we're the Red Hawks, and that's an athletic connotation, you know, and so, you know, talk about our volleyball championships, our football. Yeah, we're very super duper proud of all of those things, and, you know, those things will, but that's not necessarily.
So if I may,
yes.
Currently it is empty a lot. And it's become a bit of a museum. We had some pieces destroyed, we had some pieces broken, and it's become a bit of a museum. And I can tell you right now that there's no way any of those people you just mentioned ever wanted it to sit empty. And so for me, it's trying to create a space where I set guidelines. And since you all know how outspoken I am, I have had no problem telling every principal that's ever come through those doors that that artwork is valuable, that the time and energy put into that space is not to have a football thrown around in it. In fact, it actually just happened during stable time, and I just walked outside and said, hi, can I please have that football? And we're moving right along. This is not a space for that. This is a place for different kinds of art. Tried to get them realizing it was a stage and music and all kinds of art can be done because they had just come out of the art show, which stable time, that was fantastic that everybody got to see the art show and everything. So that was great. So you're right that there is that sense that people don't know what it is. So that's why with the new name, it is a relaunch with our teachers, with our students, and with everybody else who is a part of that space. For sure, Andre.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So I was a chair when that all happened. And I am so happy to hear what you're saying, because my biggest criticism of that area, I had 4 kids go through.
I know.
You had most of my kids. And you know what? They had never, other than one of them being part of astronomy, the other 3 had never been out. And the only time he had been out is to go into the big telescope to look up at the stars.
Yep.
So it was completely misused. There were people in the community that knew what it was more than my 4 kids who went there.
Yeah.
Knew what it was.
And when you have a memorial service and kids are there and they say, I've never seen this memorial garden.
Exactly. My kids didn't even
So-
know it was there until one day I was going for the school committee and they were like, where you going? I'm like, Memorial Garden. They're like, where's that? I'm like, in the
Yeah.
Astro Park. And they're like, there's a memorial, because they'd never been out there.
And
so the fact that you're making it into an outdoor class, please, anything I could do to help that continue and just, like you said, it's not a spot to throw a football around, but it's an
Right.
outdoor classroom. You wouldn't throw your football around in your classroom in the building, so you shouldn't be throwing your football around outside in your classroom. It's nice days to go outside and
Exactly.
learn in a different atmosphere, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I'm so happy to hear what you're saying because the relaunch needed to happen.
Well, and the relaunch, I think, is going to be just that. It's a rebranding of the
Yep.
actual space,
But
also
there's more
just-
to it. There's
there's
making
also
it-
a whole new generation of teachers who don't know the history. So showing the little video to the staff at the beginning of the year was quite funny because Mike Gyra basically built the park on tardies. If you were tardy to school, you had to serve detentions. He would get them out of detention to haul soil and do all of that. So, the teachers were laughing. We need something like that again to help with that sort of a thing. And everyone really did show it to the students. So they know its history. And now it's time to make a new video about, so now that it's Red Hawk Ridge, what is this space?
And it became a museum piece. I
did.
remember saying that. I remember talking to some teachers at the high school. I remember talking to the superintendent at that time, and I was like, my kids aren't allowed out there. They go to the school. You have other people from the community that are allowed there, but my kids that are students in this building aren't allowed in there. And they're like, yeah, Mike, but there's really valuable stuff out there. And museum pieces. And I'm like, those should be in a college, not a high school where it's a classroom.
Right. Well, and I'll never forget when Mike said, it's not a hallway. This is not a hallway. And I said, no, but it's
Nope.
not an empty space that we're just going
No,
to
it's
look
not
at
a museum.
through the
Well, it's not a
windows.
museum either.
Right.
It's
So
not a museum
it's
either.
time to sort of now
No,
that it really is.
everything you
I
just
think
said-
it really is finished in many, many ways. It's now time to really let especially new teachers who didn't know the history, they loved that little video. So now I'm going to get the students to help me. And I got the graphic design students have made a little logo picture that, I was going to pick one of
But-
those. So trying to
yeah.
enlist the kids.
No,
as
thank you.
much
Thank
as
you
I
for
can,
going.
you
I
guys.
agree with you 1,000%. That's what needed to happen, and you're bringing it forward. So thank you so much for doing that.
Well, I appreciate you guys and all that you do, and I am happy to help, especially with, I know a lot of history, 32 years. I just look at you like I taught you. I was thinking about your kids probably only went out with me when we did poetry. We would go out, read your poem to a
And
tree.
you were one of the only teachers that was almost allowed to go out there because it was the poetry part, right?
What you have to have, that was a very big deal. You had to have a curriculum that went with it and all the rest of it, which is why if we have lessons designed already, you don't have to ask permission. You can just say, I'm doing the lesson and go out and enjoy the space.
Well, thank you for the work you're doing on it.
Thank you.
Honestly,
And if you
thank
have any questions or anything as we go through it, Andre is happy to give me a call, but just let me know.
All right.
We'll be in touch.
Thank
Great.
you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Martha.
Until summer tomorrow. She'll be so excited.
Okay. So, and I like that name, I think Red Hawk, and a mascot's for the whole school. It's not just one contingency. So it's nice that the students voted to carry the Red Hawk throughout the school and other spaces and throughout academics and everything. Item 4.2, approve the Future Problem Solvers Competition field trip to Indianapolis in June.
Move to approve the Future Problem Solvers Competition field trip to Indianapolis, June 4th through the 8th, 2025, as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
Any discussion?
Has this gone through all of the proper vetting and all that stuff?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this came out of their most recent competition in March, and Dave Anthony has reviewed it.
All right, motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Finance and Facilities Business, item 5.1, approve Barnstable Public Schools student activity procedures. Is it
Move to approve. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Chris has a brief slideshow to share a little bit about where this came from. And as he brings it up, I just want to thank him for all of his work in particular on putting together a really solid set of procedures to guide our student activity accounts, predominantly affecting the high school, but also the intermediate school, just providing the checks and balances and all the oversight that's really necessary. So he'll talk a little bit about that.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sarah, for that introduction. As she'd mentioned, we've been doing a lot of work around the student activity accounts and the funding around that in order to make sure that we are both compliant with DESE regulations, but that we're also, which I think is really important, providing a guidebook and good materials for the individuals in the district who are involved with student activities. So I wanted to give you a quick overview of what we've been doing for the last year and a half and what the next steps are. The next steps do include some action from the school committee, so the short presentation will highlight that for you. So a little bit on the background. About a year and a half ago, in conversations with Sarah and with our finance director, Mark Milne, there was a suggestion that we take a closer look at our student activity processes, and as I mentioned earlier, make sure that we're compliant with all regulations, both DESE and the town, and to get feedback from advisors and other folks involved with the process to see how the process is going here in the district. So we really did two things. The first was we did a financial audit of the activity accounts with our auditing firm that does the town's audit as well as the school district's end-of-year audit that we submit to DESE. So that was to make sure that our funding structure and accounts are set up appropriately. They did have a few recommendations that I will go through with you in a little bit. The second piece from that was to put together a resource book or a procedures manual, which we're calling it, which essentially just outlines everything that we've been doing, and it also incorporates some best practices, things that we should be focused on. So here is the timeline. The first was the account audit I mentioned. Second is the procedures audit, which I didn't mention. We contracted with the Collins Center for that. The school committee approved that contract, I think it was last spring. Today is our presentation, and then at the beginning of the school year, we plan on meeting with all the advisors, all the individuals involved with this process, to give them this procedures manual and do a presentation that summarizes essentially what everyone should be doing, who to reach out to if you have any questions or need any help. So here are the things that came out of that account audit, which was Powers and Sullivan at the time. They've been bought out, so they're under a new company name, but it's our same audit team. The first was that we established written policies and procedures. That's the procedures manual that's in your packet, and the one that I've been referencing. The second was that the school committee annually approve student activity accounts. We started that this fall, where we sent you a list of all of the high school and middle school activity accounts so that you could vote on them. I think the reasoning behind that is that, focus areas change among school committees over the years, and that the school committee should have input on what student activities and the schools are focusing on related to them each year. The third one was implement ongoing training for users. So as I mentioned, in the fall of the 25-26 school year, we plan to sit down with all the individuals involved, walk through all these processes, give them the procedures manual. The fourth was to annually audit accounts. This is in line with DESE's requirement that we audit at least one of our student activity accounts each year. The fifth is that we do not exceed checking account limits. This is essentially just a kind of check and balance to ensure that we don't have a checking account that an individual has access to that has $100,000 or $200,000. So we limit that balance to reduce any potential fraud. And then the sixth one is that the principals at each school that has an activity account and other officials, like myself, are bonded, and that's if any of us go awry, you can recoup any funds that we have pilfered. So I've given you statuses on each of these recommendations and a completion date for those items that we haven't completed but that are in process. So this is really the meat of what the findings were from the audit and the things that we've been working on to implement since then. The Collins Center engagement really was to essentially put together our existing practices and procedures, take the school committee policies, look at DESE policies, and put them all into the procedures guidance manual that is in your packet today and that we'll distribute to everybody. There's two things that I want to highlight on that, but before I do, I want to say that this procedures manual, by and large, encapsulates everything that we have, for the most part, already have been doing. It was just never documented out, so their job was to really take all that information and put it into one cohesive document. There are two recommendations, though, that came from their work that, in discussion with advisors, principals, the superintendent, and the finance director, we do recommend that the school committee vote on. These are outlined here. The first is to create a role called the deposit clerk. And essentially what this individual will be responsible for doing is taking funds that come into class advisors, whether it be a fundraiser or a parent is buying or paying for a graduation stole for their student. They make all those deposits at the bank and then take all that information, all the bank slips in detail, and give that to the coordinator at each school. That coordinator is responsible for essentially reconciling all the accounts. So they'll have all that revenue information. They'll make sure it's applied to the appropriate club. And then that individual is also responsible for expenses, allowing people to make pre-approved purchases. What this does is this creates separation of duties. What you don't want is you don't want one individual responsible for taking in money and depositing money because, theft can occur. So this is a best practice here, one that we recommend implementing. We do believe in conversations with the superintendent that similar to the coordinator positions that currently exist at the two schools, this will also be a stipend position. So we'll be putting together, or someone will be putting together a position description, and we'll come back before the school committee for your review and approval on that. Hope to have it implemented for next school year. The second is a departure from our existing process, and this is to create an unassigned revenue fund. And this is essentially where all of the interest that is earned on the money in the student activity account would go. Those monies in the unassigned revenue account would pay for our annual audits, and they would also pay for any engagements, like future engagements like the one we've done here. They could also be used at the school committee's discretion, but anytime we wanted to use funds from this new unassigned revenue fund, we would need to go before the school committee for approval. The current process is that the revenue that is, or the interest that is raised in the student activity agency account is taken and then distributed across like the 38 different clubs, which is extremely time consuming. Some of these clubs have a balance of $1,000, so the interest is very, very minimal. So this is a recommendation just to clean things up. And it provides us with a funding source for certainly our audits, which we're required to do every year. So the next steps here, I think I've already highlighted. We're looking to create that deposit clerk. We'll come before you with a position description. We need to amend the school committee policy JJF. That's to create that unassigned revenue fund and stop allocating interest to each club. And then vote to adopt the student activity account management procedures manual that's in your packet. I think this evening what we're looking for is a vote on the manual for you to adopt that, and then we'll come back before you at a future date with those other two items. But that's it. And I mentioned, we're really going to, in earnest, sit down with the advisors, the principals, these coordinators, our new deposit clerks to walk through, in an auditorium style setting, because there's a lot of people involved, what the procedures are, who the resources are, and really dial this in. So nothing to be concerned about, but this is just it was an opportunity for us to look at an existing process and really make sure that we're doing it as best as we can. So happy to answer any questions that you might have at this point.
Mike?
Thank you. 'Cause I know I know of advisors who have taken over the advisory role in different, for different things, and is like, you don't know who to go to. It's like, who do I go talk to for making a deposit? Or how do I get like money if I need to pay a check or need to pay a bill? How do I and everybody you asked, it was like, oh. So the fact that now like whoever, and when somebody leaves and somebody else takes it over, then here's the manual and it just puts it in one place, so it makes it easier. Everybody's kind of on the same page too, because everybody you talked to kind of gave you a different answer. They either didn't know or they gave you, oh, well, I do this, and then somebody else, oh, no, I do, and it was like all over the map. So thank you for taking the time to doing this work to kind of clean it up. And this doesn't include PTAs, this doesn't include boosters for sports teams, this is just school.
Correct, it's just
Okay,
student.
just I want that out to the public, so this isn't
Yep, no
sports team booster
PTAs,
clubs
no
or anything like that, that's all independent.
No revolving
PTAs, that's all independent, we're only talking about school
Correct,
advisors who are attached to the school, more or less.
correct.
Okay, I just want that out there just for the public.
Motion?
Yeah, so, what issues are we seeing that would prompt us to make this shift? Meaning, that's kind of my, are we talking about, because we just talked about, we have a number of clubs that are doing a lot of amazing things and students are involved, so seeing things outwardly appear to be on the up and up, but, so what's prompting this shift is kind of my...
Yeah, I think the largest piece that prompted this was, as Mike just said, to ensure that we have kind of a living document that we can pass on to everybody involved in the process. We had a long-term coordinator, student activity coordinator at the high school who retired 2 years ago. And when he left, he knew the process like the back of his hand.
Right.
Since then, in the past 2 years, we've had 2 different coordinators, right? So there's a lot of conversations, there's sometimes confusion, there's a learning curve. So we really wanted to make sure that we had documented what the process is so that people have that in hand, whether they're a long-term employee that just want to kind of reference something, or they're a new coordinator coming in and wants to be able to walk through a document to understand the process.
Thank you. So, so moving forward, we're going to have all of the activities that we currently have, and then, like, this would be a change, if I'm understanding it, if we needed a new activity, that would need to be approved at the school committee level versus, is that?
So that actually already exists. Any new club that wants to raise funds has to come before the school committee for approval. And I think, didn't we have one or two? I think in the past few months, we came before you with a new one or a second one, but that'll be the process. Anyone
Understood.
that wants to do a new one will come.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to elaborate a little bit on what Chris said, so no current concerns, but I think it is a huge area of potential risk. There's a lot of cash that flows through student activities, so this just guarantees that everybody has clear directions on what to do, how to handle it, how to account for it, and it just is really, really clear.
The manual is great. It really is thorough. It was much more, knowing it was in the works, it was much more than I expected. And I couldn't even find a loophole anywhere in there. It's really, and it's not a hard read either. It's clear, it's concise. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I'm expressing my nerd, but I'm thankful it's a public document because everything is, and I've been waiting for it to be approved because I wanted to talk to you about how to share it with students learning in the field, because it's important that they you can stand up there and you can tell them all day about separation of duties, and they look at me like I have two heads. And it is real, and it's important, and it's clear, and I think people will be able to follow it easily. So thank you.
Yep.
Move to approve the Barnstable Public Schools student activity procedures as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. That was a lot of work. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So 5.2, quarter 3 budget update.
All right, moving right along to our Q3 budget update. In your packets are 3 reports: our operating budget detail report that provides all of the line items for the entire district, and our year-to-date activity through the end of March. Also in your packet is our revolving fund summary that details all of our revolving fund, the activity year-to-date through March, and the current balance in those accounts. And lastly, the capital appropriations, any activity that has occurred through March, and the balance on those funds as well. So these 3 reports should give you a general and maybe a too detailed idea of how the district is doing. But overall, we're in a good, from an operating standpoint, we're in a good financial position heading into the end of the year. At this point, barring any emergencies, we don't foresee a need for any supplemental appropriation to close the year out. We'll continue to monitor things as we start to close out POs and as budget transfers start to pick up with end-of-the-year spending and purchasing, make sure that everything is good and in order. I don't have much to highlight other than the good news there. 2 things that I would just call your attention to if maybe you noticed it and you had a question on it. The first is that you'll see on the revolving funds, one of our accounts, it has a deficit balance through March. That is the athletic revolving fund. That is in part because they encumber all of their transportation costs at the beginning of the year. So that money shows up as essentially spent or spoken for. But we're still getting revenue in. So we anticipate that we'll close out the end of the year in a positive position. I will say in the past that we've talked about, especially during fees, this account typically has run in the deficit, and it's needed support from the operating budget. But as we've talked about during fees, with the recent fee increases that we've talked about in Henry's work, we think that this account will be in good shape moving forward. And that's it on the revolving fund. And then on the capital funds, you might notice that we've got some older projects there and ones that show that they've been 100% completed. We typically keep those on this report if they've been completed in this year, just so that you get a sense of what particular projects have been completed this year. It gives you kind of a greater sense of the big picture of the capital activity for this fiscal year. They will drop off next year when we start sending you these reports. So that's my update for quarter 3. We'll be back before you in July, early August, with a kind of end of the year, how we did update and wrap up, and a prep for the beginning of FY26. So happy to take any questions if you have any.
Questions? No?
Excellent job, Chris. Honestly, great job.
Thanks. Yep.
All right, item 5.3, approve accounts payable warrant fiscal year 25, warrant number 44.
Move to approve accounts payable warrant FY25 warrant 44 in the amount of $103,150.85.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The consent agenda, item 6.1, approve school committee meeting minutes, April 2nd, 2025, and approve the fiscal year 25 grants, gifts, and donation. The consent agenda includes both of those above. And Mike?
Move to approve the items in the consent agenda as presented in tonight's material.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Executive session, item 7.1, executive session. Move to go into executive session to reconvene in open session to approve the school committee executive session minutes of April 2, 2025. Approve the Barnstable Administrators Organization Memorandum of Agreement for the 2024 to 2027 contract. A strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel and/or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. David Bedeau, Sandy Gifford, Kim Stolowski. The Executive Director of Multilingual Learners and Executive Director of Technology. To discuss salary adjustments for non-affiliated personnel and to discuss strategy with respect to litigation.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. This is a roll call vote. Jen? Yes. Andre?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So we're now in executive session. We're now reconvening in open session. Item 8.1, approve the Barnstable Administrators Organization Memorandum of Agreement for the 2024-2027 contract.
Move to approve the memorandum of agreement for the 2024 through 2027 contract between the Barnstable School Committee and the Barnstable Administrators Organization as presented to the school committee and ratified by the bargaining unit.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 8.2, approve the Executive Director of Technology job description and position.
Move to approve the Executive Director of Technology job description and position as presented in tonight's material.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. 8.3, approve the Executive Director of Multilingual Learners job description and position.
Move to approve the Executive Director of Multilingual Learners job description and position as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 8.5, approve the employment contract for the Co-Director of Special Education Pre-K to 5.
Move to approve the one-year employment contract for the Co-Director of Special Education Pre-K through 5, Kim Stoliski, beginning on July 1, 2025, with the base salary of $131,840 and other terms as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Go ahead.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
And this is a roll call vote. Jen?
Yes.
Andre?
Yes.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you.